this is Bravo 1, Bravo Team Airsoft, and today I'm going to go over my NVA gear, which is basically what I'm currently wearing. I'm going to go over it just on a brief look of how I look now, and then I will go through it individually. See if I can show a bit more highlight on it as opposed to the distance with the camera length from where it is to what I'm wearing. It's a bit difficult to show you accurately what I've got, so I'm going to show you a brief view of what it looks like on, and then I will show you what it is I've got specifically in detail. So I'll just turn around, and this is basically what I've got for my NVA gear. So I'm going to go over into the specifics of what I've got, and I'll zoom in a bit more on the camera, or maybe put it on a table or something just to show you a bit more in depth. Again, if any of you are new to these videos, these are not rehearsed. I do not get paid for any of these. There's no studio or anything. This is simply my personal collection within my own Vietnam era gun room. So I'm just going to go over the videos of what I've got. These are mostly based for airsofters and not history accurate reenactors. So this particular kit I'm using isn't historically accurate. It's just the closest I can get to what the NVA would have used without breaking the bank or getting stressed importing certain things. Is just what I've basically gone with. Majority of it is actually real to my knowledge, other than a few pieces, but again, it's not based on any certain brigade or company. It's just basically a NVA, well, officer, as I'll get to shortly, for the airsoft events, because I will be going to an event in August dressed in this particular kit, and possibly VT kit. I'm probably going to do both as part of the same kit, so that's why I've ended up building this kit. So right, if you stay with me, I will show you what I've got in closer detail. Okay, so firstly, this is my, I believe it's some years since I've bought this now, it's very old. I believe it is G&G, and it is a AKMS. And this is one of the variants that has the battery in the front component, so as opposed to putting it in the back or in the stock when it has a stock, it comes with the battery. It actually comes to two of these at the front. Now this is a really good gun. Like I said, it's been some time since I bought it. I believe it is a G&G, but I could be wrong, because I have had it for some years, 5 or 6 years now. It has seen quite a lot of use, not as much as lately since I've got my TM recoil AK-47. Completely different type of gun, and once I got hold of that, it made my other AK variants a bit less used. But this is a really good gun. It's highly accurate, it's very reliable. It has had some issues with things moving and slotting out of place just over wear and tear, I think, with it being used so much. The grip has actually been replaced. This was originally black. I replaced it for a brown one just because I thought it looked better and it's a bit more personal to me. It has a real communist era Russian AK-47 style sling on it, as it's, you know, the Russian version of an AK, not a Chinese or any other versions that are around. This is the one with a milled receiver, I believe. I only have one that's got, no, sorry, a stamped receiver, I believe. I've only got one with a milled receiver, and that's the Tokyo Recoil version out of all the AKs I've got. This has a slight blowback system, so when you pull the trigger it will go back slightly, which is impressive. It doesn't go all the way, but before the TM recoil, this was a really good AK to have. I have several magazines for this. It's obviously the one with the folding stock. The reason I've gone with this one is because my character that I've built is, I believe is based on an NVA kernel, but I'll get into that later. Now obviously those other AK-47s I could use. I could use a variety of Russian and Chinese weapons that was issued to the NVA of the time. So if I do not use this, I may use the other AK, which is my favourite one, which is this. This is my Tokyo Marui blowback AK-47. I'm very impressed with this. It's seen a hell of a lot of use in the duration that I've had it. The only downside I find to this AK is that the furniture is actually plastic and not wood. On camera and from a distance it looks like wood, so the finish is pretty good. It could have made a lot worse job, but I wish they made this with a wood kit. If I ever find out that they make a wood kit, I will go out there and deliberately buy the wood kit for it, just to make this better, as this is one of my favourite guns that I have. Again, as I said, it has a milled receiver. It's the only AK that I actually have with a milled receiver. I believe all the others are stamped, and this is obviously the Russian variant. So this has been a really good choice of AK. This is more than likely what I'll probably use for the majority of the milsim closer to the time, with it being my favourite. I also have obviously other variants of AKs. There's probably half a dozen other things I can use. I could even use this if only it would fire airsoft pellets. We all know what this is, and they don't make it yet in airsoft. But I do have a deactivated version just for my collection. So if I'm posing for pictures or just doing some sort of, you know, scene, I guess, it goes for the looks. Hopefully one day someone will make one of these in Airsoft, but for now it's in my collection. So I do have obviously others, such as other AK firearms. I've got the Type 56, I've got in previous videos, I've even got a Dragunov and obviously an RPK. So now I've gone to our weapons. I will talk about the sidearm next, since I've started with weapons. So we have this. Now, most of this kit is going to be very similar to my Viet Cong video. If you've seen that, then this is basically the same kit but just repurposed on behalf of an MVA. Here's the kit, are obviously very similar or the same depending on what kind of kit you've done. So this is my CO2 KWC Makarov. Now I do have a Tokarev, so I could use a Tokarev if I wished, but I prefer CO2 considering I'm in the UK. Green gas, depending on the weather, isn't always the best. So therefore I've gone with the KWC CO2 Makarov. This has been a really good gun so far. It's been very powerful and I really like it. It's not a 1911 being my favourite, so probably, as you've gathered now if you're this far into the videos and if you've been a subscriber for a while, this is probably what you're used to expecting me having, but obviously I can't really use that for the MVAs. It was more of a regulated thing. Probably do it with the VC, but not for MVA. So I have a proper Russian era holster for that and a proper VC belt, which is like the plastic leathery type one. This is one of those things where you have to be quite a small person to fit one of these belts on, funny enough, because if I put any more weight on, I don't know how much longer I would be able to put this belt on for, as it only just fits me. Vietnamese obviously being a smaller people, and this being a regular, genuine one, that's probably part of the issue why it's struggle fit. So if COVID goes any longer, I will not be able to fit this for the August Milsim. Okay, so that's my belt. I'll go over headgear. So it's just basically a standard green floppy hat, and this is a real one, it's not a reproduction. This actually came with a VC kit that I got when I ordered it. This actually came with it, but I can use this just as well for the NVA. So that's the hat. Water bottle. So this is a homemade one. I originally got one of these off eBay. It was a cheap communist style VC NVA PLA type water bottle. It came with like a really crappy nylon sort of holder. I had a bunch of old straps from all the other kit I've congregated over time, and I've made a lot of this myself. So I've bashed it in, I've weathered it up, because this is a reproduction, it's not a real one, and then I've made my own canvas sort of holder. So that's why the colour creation's a bit different, because it's what canvas I've had to make my own strap. So that's how I've made this, you know, just to make it a bit better from the crappy canvas thing that it came with. So that's my water bottle pouch. I do not know what they call this specific. I don't know if it has a specific name or whatever, but I just know it is the communist water bottle, so that's what I've got for that. Okay, the next thing, load bearing kit. Obviously you should all know this by now. Russian AK-47, Chinese Chicom type, you know, AK chest rig. Holds 3 magazines. Don't wear the one with the 4 magazines. I know some people do this and that's not era correct. I don't believe the one with the 4 mags came out until like the 70s or the 80s. I know it was pre-war, because I nearly got one a couple of years ago, and then someone told me you can't use the one with the 4 magazines in because it just didn't exist until after the war. So in order not to be so fab, I know it's Airsoft, but I try and put at least a good bit of effort in unless I can really help it. So I've got to the Chicom sort of chest rig, and it does have 3 magazines in. Obviously I would put grenades or BBs in the other 2 pouches. I believe this one actually has maps and VC dong in it. So yeah, that's my AK chest rig for it. Okay, so this is like my 3rd attempt at filming this. So if this is a bit spliced out and a bit odd, it's because I've had to film it several times. Lesson of the day: do not have children. You get ex-girlfriends ringing you in the middle of videos, ruins it, and then you've got to retake it and remember what you filmed and what you hadn't filmed. So I'll continue from where I left off. So this is my NVA officer's shirt. Now I believe, to my knowledge, this is a real genuine NVA shirt. It could be Russian, Korean, or even Chinese for that matter, but it's definitely a Soviet era or communist era Cold War type shirt. It has all the communist stars on the badges. The pockets on here, with like the triangular points, they're on there again, which is a common thing you see if you type in on Google NVA shirts. You can always tell the patterns with the pockets. So to my knowledge, this is definitely, if not an NVA shirt, it is definitely a Cold War communist era shirt. I found this basically randomly on eBay when I typed in that's something like vintage Green Army shirt or something. As I was scrolling down, I saw the pockets. I thought, hang on, that looks like a communist one. And then if you look closely, you can actually see the little communist stars on it. So originally I got this shirt and it does fit, but you have to sort of put it over yourself, kind of like a jumper. It's got buttons on the top, but the bottom bit was all sealed shut. Now, I'm putting on a bit more weight due to COVID than normal, so a lot of the regular stuff that does fit me doesn't fit me. So I'm not running about and doing all the usual stuff that I do, so I'm not burning it off as easily, as I can imagine a lot of you are in the same boat. Even if you're on the reenacting spectrum, I suppose you're not in the same boat, or gym go or whatever, because we're all in the same situation at the moment, or at least we are in the UK. So for that reason, I've cut the bottom of it. I'm going to sew the lining up, just tidy it up a bit so I can put it on as a regular shirt, as it'll fit me that way. I just can't put it on like a jumper. It tends to be a very tight getting it on and off. So I've sort of modified this from how it originally was, but other than that, everything's, you know, the same as it was. I have added NVA rank tags. Now I believe these are kernels. I'm not entirely certain whether that's true or not, as I'm not too familiar with NVA ranks, but I do however have a book that does specify ranks, and I have other stuff such as this, and from what I can make out, I believe this is a kernel rank tag. Now I could be wrong, or the book could be wrong where I've made it out, because it does talk about ranks in certain pages, and I believe this one is a kernel rank tag. Because I'm going with, you know, the floppy hat and the Makarov pistol, this kind of works quite well for the kit I'm doing. As opposed, obviously I'm going to do VC the same day, so maybe I do this on a Saturday and VC as a Sunday, or I just switch in between. I haven't quite decided yet, but it's all going to be part of one kit that I'm regularly going to change, just so I can do different things. So yeah, basically this is my NVA shirt. The rank tags are apparently quite rare, because I did buy Bravo 2 some of these as well, but I think his may be a private one. But because I'm not familiar with the NVA ranks, it's a bit skeptical on my knowledge on this. So if you do know what ranks these are, comment below, because I could be wrong, and I'm always eager to learn. I'm always positive with the feedback. I do get the odd troll that effing and blinds and just calls me names for no apparent reason, or has justification behind it, just abusive assholes. Don't really give them the time of day, but if you've got good criticism and you know something I don't, I'm always happy to understand and learn. So yeah, that's the rank tags for the shirt. So the next thing I'll talk about is the trousers. The trousers I couldn't find proper ones from, so I got these, which are basically just standard elasticated green type trousers. No different really than your pyjama trousers that you VC wear, I suppose. Now I couldn't get the proper ones, so I looked on the uniforms and basically found stuff similar to that of what the NVA Army was using, or the PLA Army if you like, depending on what year we're doing. So obviously it was basically like a green trousers with no pockets on the legs, like most common armies of that time started doing. It was just basically elasticated waist, green combat trousers. So this is the closest I could find that would fit the NVA type kit. These are very cheap on eBay, really easy to obtain. So that's what I've gone for the trousers. Now obviously the contrast to the colours a bit different to the shirt, but it works. It's just enough. Remember, this is Airsoft and not a living history event or some kind of public reenactment, so you have a bit of border force to cross lines and get things not quite right but close, especially for the simple means of saving money. So the boots, I don't actually have any of the PLA, VC, NVA type boots, so I'm just going to use my French Army ones, which are very similar. Basically, other than these top bits here, if they was crossed off, they're basically the same as what the NVA boots are, except the colour's different. These are originally 1950s French paratrooper boots. The same boots I use for my VC kit, you know, the idea of taking them off a dead para or the base in Dien Bien Phu, where they would have had stores and raided all their stuff for gear. So, you know, if I dyed these green and I had the trousers over this top bit, I could probably pull them off as NVA boots. May do that at some point if I can get hold of some green dye. I'm not quite set on it yet, because I do like the idea that these are French, you know, paratrooper boots as like captures. So that's what I'm going to use as boots, but it's not, you know, the common thing. It's not issued or anything. So next thing I am going to talk about is my bag. So if I can move this up a bit so you can see. It's a bit more buffed out. So this is basically my NVA rucksack. I've got a variety of different things in it, so I'm going to talk about what is in it. So let's just move this. So I have the NVA communist style PIF helmet, very common. Because I'm doing an officer, I don't know whether I'll be wearing this, but it goes well with the kit, and I think from a distance the immersion of it would be quite well. It's not the one with the badge in. I did originally have it, but I took that off, basically because it highlighted too much with the red and the gold. I took this off because originally I was doing this with a SOG kit, which I've now abandoned, so this was in my spares. So it has been used, it has got a couple of dents and a bit of weathering and muck on it. Very cheap, you can get these on eBay. I think I only paid about 12-15 quid for this some years ago, because I have had it for quite a while. So yeah, that's the PIF helmet that I just thought I'd put on the kit. This is the bag itself, which I believe is a genuine one. It's not a reproduction. I believe this is a real NVA bag. And now I'll go into the contents of it. So I have a little tea urn in there. I do actually drink tea, so it's actually useful. It's not something that's just there for the point. I have a wooden bowl. Now remember, this is for, you know, a Milsim event within August time, so I will actually be using this kit, you know, and the stuff of the kit, you know, for actual purposes on the camps. I have some NVA black pajama type trousers in here, as I will do an NVA kit. It's not specifically regulated that I have to do VC or NVA as long as I'm on the opposition. I can do both kits, especially if it rains or tears or anything like that. I have a spare set of kit to play the bad guys. So that's the trousers. I should have a shirt in here as well, which these I've done previous videos on beforehand. I'll just put them in the bag to sort of buff them out, make the kit look more interesting, and it will be something I use. I have a little metal old green mug in there. I have a Russian rifle cleaning kit. This was gifted to me, so I don't know the specific details. I believe it is for actually a PPSH, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I thought it makes the kit look pretty well, so I've put that in there. Next thing I've done is quite an interesting thing. So this is an old coffee mug. So it's one of the things I have heard, I can't remember, I think someone else did a video on it, and this is where I got the idea from. So apparently when the French and the Americans was occupied in Vietnam, they used to throw away the metal coffee tins, and the VC and the NVA would often pick up these coffee tins and use them as containers to keep goods dry, such as rice, letters, currency, you know, whatever. So I did the same idea. So got the old coffee tins, scratched it and weathered it up a bit, and then I've added some more personal items in here, so obviously they don't get wet for the original reason they were used. So this is all maps of certain sites. I have a couple of name tapes in here, which would have been, you know, for people that had been killed. You know, maybe they cut them off with a knife. The guy's obviously a serial killer because he likes to keep trophies. I have NVA VC type propaganda. I have a lot of dong in here, which is the currency we use in games to pay the locals off. I have stuff like written orders, you know, capture papers and whatnot, you know, intelligence, keep the Americans on the toes. So yeah, that's basically what I've done for the tin here. It's just sort of to add it a bit more character and a bit more life to the person I'm doing. So that's what I've done with the coffee tub there. I thought it was quite a good idea, cheap, easy way to do things. I have a late Vietnam War entrenching tool. It's not really in here for any specific reason, it's just because I had it and I had nowhere to put it. It's sort of just gone in here as a bit of collection kit, so we can call this a bit of capture material. So that's what I've done there. I have a whistle, obviously because the NVA and VC didn't have radio equipment, such as like the Americans and the Australians and New Zealanders and all that sort of stuff that were there. They used whistles. So with me being an officer, I would drape this across my neck and then use the whistles as call signs for, you know, whatever it is the orders are. Now I've actually seen these being used at Milsims against opposition. It's quite fearful. The first time I went to an event, someone, an NVA officer, whistled this, threw a load of smoke grenades, and there's about 50 of them running out of the woods with waving flags coming out of the smoke. It was quite terrifying for an airsoft event. I must say I was impressed with it. Then we have the Mekong Delta style neck chief for the Viet Cong. In there I have a captured USMC knife. I believe that is, oh hang on, I've got some chopsticks in here to go with the wooden plates. So it's basically just a scoff kit. I believe that's everything that's in the bag. So yeah, that's everything that I've got into the actual bag for my NVA kit. So that's pretty much everything, aside from obviously the weapons, which I've previously mentioned, that go with it. I can use a variety of communist block type weapons I've got to go with my kit. So I do have a few other weapons I can use that I haven't done in the video, such as my AKM and my AMD 65 and then other weapon captures. So I could always use that. As well, in the as part of my kit, I have several different AKs, because I do like to try a lot of things out and I like to have a bit of a collection. So yeah, that's basically my NVA kit. I would like to thank everyone that's been quite supportive of this channel. I've noticed now I've got more subscribers, I'm getting more messages and more comments. You know, people mostly being positive about, I've even had some veterans that have talked about things they saw, things they did, how they carried things, suggestions. Sometimes it's opposite. I get told one thing from one veteran that they didn't do this, and another veteran will say they do, and it does spark debates in some of the comments with people, other veterans that were there that debate with each other. So for all the support I've had, I would like to say thank you. It's only a small channel, but it seems to be getting bigger and it seems to be getting more well known. So I'd like to appreciate any, you know, interests and comments I've had on that, as it's been quite supportive. If I didn't have the support I did, then I probably wouldn't make these videos. Like I said, this one has taken me 3 attempts to make. I do get the occasional troll slagging me off and calling me names and sending me abusive messages. I ain't got the time of day for them people. They're just generally assholes, and I'm too much of an asshole to reply back to them. So negative you know, comments and people just calling me fucking idiots and stuff like this, I ain't got time of day for them people. I do this clearly for people asking. I have a big collection. I've got a big fascination with Vietnam. I do have a 16-man team within Bravo team across the UK that do different events. I'm not the only member, I'm just one of the ones that has the biggest collection and the most confidence to do a video on this stuff. So that's why I do them, just because people ask. And like I said, because I've had a lot of support, I feel quite enthusiastic about doing videos for people that keep asking for more. So for all of you that you know, help with suggestions, ideas, knowledge and genuine support, you're the reason I keep doing these videos, because if I just got all the slaggy, bitchy comments or all the trolls, I probably wouldn't do them. This is why a lot of my other members don't do them. Bravo 2 has expressed an interest in doing videos as well, as he has some kits that even I don't have, so his original ideas that he won't mind doing videos on at some point. So when I get round to it, I will update his kit onto the channel. I will also do an update for my Australian kit at some point, as I've tweaked, modified and added things to that since my last video, and I've learned other things since then that, you know, I didn't know at the time. That seems to be one of my most popular videos. I've had a lot of good feedback about that, but I have had some trolls bitching and moaning and what have you, and just being general assholes. I ain't got time of day for them people, but for those that have commented on that video, it's quite knowledgeable and taught me things I didn't know. I do really appreciate it. It's helped me improve that kit. So yeah, this is Bravo 1 with Bravo Team Airsoft, and this is my NVA kit. So thanks for watching.